Okay guys, like promised, I'm actually going to do a small Kerbal video real fast. I was gonna create a simple ship, put it into a equatorial orbit, and put some docking ports on it, and hopefully in some coming videos, dock a few ships to it. So, let's get started in the build. So go in my Let's Play. As you can see, I do have quite a few mods installed. I'd list them out, but there's so many of them. I'll just make this a simple Kerbal ship, I guess. Let's go for the command pod, one Kerbal. Fairly lonely. Oh, I haven't been on here in a little bit. Alright, let's just set it up real fast. Actually, let me go for another module. Let's go for the larger one. There we go. Get a nice little... that one right there? Yeah, sure, why not? Now, I do want to get some RCS on here. I don't think it's going to be in here. I also need a larger SAS. That's kind of large. There we go. And hopefully an RCS tank. Throw in an engine. Get one of the orbital engines. That one's good enough. Just minute change. I'll need it for minute changes. Okay. There's decouplers. Actually, we get some solar panels and maybe some batteries as well. Let's get a round battery. Gonna throw some of these larger solar panels on it. Let's turn it around a little bit. Right about there. Got some RCS. Now I'm going to put this actually at the center of mass. And if you do this and look at it, you can actually put just 4 RCS on the thing. And it should fly pretty good. Let me go this way. And that should provide enough control for the whole craft. And being on center of mass, the RCS can actually, these few RCS engines can do pretty much everything. Okay, and all I need is this decoupler now. If I can remember where it is. Not decoupler, docking ports. It's somewhere in here. There's clampomatics. Was it the clampomatics? I have some parachutes on here just in case. 4 parachutes would be good like that. Okay, I think these are the things I need. It's done which way it goes. Goes one of these ways. Ooh. That might be nice. Shield docking port. Allow me to dock. Alright, now let's go for the primary stage here. For this I'll just use a normal decoupler. With a large, decently large center stage. And actually, this middle one, these will actually all be gimbaled, so get some large engines. I think these were, nope, that one. There we go. That is vectored, so that's okay, I guess. Let's get some radial decouplers. Now what I'm going to be setting up is the famous asparagus setup. That looks good. I wish those were non-gimbling kind of these though. Okay. So on these I'll set the fuel. Like so. Oops. Got the fuel line. Run from this tank to that tank. Oops. Oh, I hate this game. Oh well. That tank to that tank. That tank to that tank. Then this tank to the center tank. And do the same on this side. So now it will actually decouple like this, so let's set that up. Okay, there's the first group. The second group that will drop off will be Those two. Okay, there's that one. And there's that one. Now I will want all the engines to fire at once. I don't have this engine set up yet, but let me add this on real fast. Okay, so I should fill in. Now all the engines will fire at once. Except for that stage, which will fire when that decouples. Okay, and hopefully that right there should get me into orbit. So, I'm going to call it the Kerbal Space Station. Unique name, I know. Module 1. And just make sure staging is right. Yep. Okay. Now I do have matchup on here, but I generally don't use it, so this launch I won't use it. I generally don't use it, only because I know how to work the controls. And look at that, I got Bill, Jeb, and Bob. Okay, so Bill, Jeb, and Bob. They're about to go off on their mission. Alright. A little bit of wobble. Oops, and that was bad. Let's retry that. I prematurely fired my decoupler. My bad. That was not permadeath. Okay, SS on, throttle up. There we go. So now, with these engines, I actually have to balance the overheating, which, if you do it right, you can get it almost right to the top. You see how I'm balancing the heat on these engines. We've got a little bit of spin going. Generally, resetting the SAS helps that out. And now I can increase that a little bit. Okay, probably way past my point to do a gravity turn, but I'll start it. It actually locks in place fairly nicely, although it's starting to spin. Alright, now I'm on the last stage here. This one should actually burn for quite some time. And I'm just going to go full lean. It's a little bit squirrely. So I'm going to put it right about 200. Now what's nice about the newest updates I've done, you can actually add a maneuver. You can actually expand that out. Retract it a little bit. There we go, that's like my perfect orbit. Okay. 206, 206. This should be fairly symmetrical now, as you can see. Do some minor adjustments. Alright, let's speed up time a little bit. Estimated burn time is 14 seconds. A little hint, you'll want to start your burn 7 seconds out to compensate for the 14-second burn. So let's just go forward a little bit. And also before you get there, you might want to line up to your little burn marker here. This actually will move with your current position, so not too bad to lock back onto. Alright, there we go. And line up a little bit more. There we go. Now let's warp out. As you can see, it's actually moving with me, with some minor adjustments I need to do. Okay, it's about 27 seconds out. So about 20 seconds till I burn. Ten seconds. And burn. Now, what you want to do is get this as low as possible. And the lower this is, the better your burn was. So what you can do at the end is actually slow it down. Right there. And see how that was? See how it's now going back up? Stop right there and you should have nearly perfect on what you planned out. That's almost nearly perfect orbit. Now I have the space junk up here. I probably should have ditched this before I did my burn. But generally what I do to get rid of this is actually to force my ship into a spin. And when this stage looking down, toss it off. And that actually throws it away from your ship a little bit, and actually alters the orbit of that part also. So lock my SIS back in. Now at this point I'll extend my panels. Again, I generally don't use my action groups. I know they work, I just generally don't like them. I prefer to right click most of the time. Okay, now my next maneuver I want to do is actually a pretty neat one. It'll actually happen down on this side of my orbit. I'm going to be targeting the moon. Now when you target the moon is on a perfectly equatorial orbit. So that means the inclination of my orbit, if it's 0 here, I'm pretty much done. See how it's 0.8? That means I'm 0.8 degrees off. Now this is just me being a little bit picky about my orbits. I generally go into here, and where this marker is, I add a maneuver, and then I burn to correct that. and I get my orbit as flat as possible. And now see how it's 0 and 0? And you see the slight change it did. This will actually make it easier for when I launch satellites in orbit. I'll actually know my inclination is 0. Pretty much exactly flat. Alright. Go to my marker. Now, the one thing I don't like about this is it doesn't tell you your burn time sometimes. I know it's 26 meters a second, so it's not too much at all. Okay, and then warp over to my burn mark, my maneuver. Now, as you can see, this moves a little bit. Actually, this is actually what it should be afterwards, so that should be good. The ascending node and descending node are actually smack dab in the middle of the apoapsis and the periapsis. So that's a little easier to remember. I expand this out. Okay, so about 30 seconds out. Still on my marker. Now this burn is going to be very, very short. I would say maybe a 1 second lead off at the most. It's pretty much dead on. So once it approaches here, all right, and I'll start burning. And right there. So that should be nearly perfect. I'm going to delete my maneuver. Look at my ascending and descending. It is 0. Now the only thing I'll go back through here and do is actually clean up these, make them match each other a little bit. I might take this side out to about 5 kilometers, just to make it a little more of a symmetrical orbit. Oops. These are a pain sometimes. Okay, there we go. All right. Again, this is only 3 meters a second, so this is going to be a very, very short burn. It's going to be engine on, engine off, pretty much. And as you can see, I still have plenty of fuel left in this tank. Yeah, I've only burnt not even 20 units yet, or liters. So actually, this is very fuel efficient so far. Let me slow down for a second. Lands a little more up, a little bit off. All right. We're about 30 seconds out. Still on that marker. I might just readjust a little bit. Now you want to always give yourself about 30 seconds just to make sure you have your marker set up right. Alright, it's coming up now. Now I'll just do a slight burn. Right there. Oh, that's almost perfect. Alright, as you can see, 10, only about 100 meters off. So yeah, that's how I get my ship into orbit. I now have a nice little beginning of a space station up here. Seems to be functioning pretty well so far. The Kerbals are scared to death except for Jeb. So all is well. Alright. Well, I'll definitely see you next time. I'll probably, when I play Kerbal again, I'll definitely rendezvous. Haven't done much rendezvousing, so I might suck at it. I also am going to be playing Arma 3. I'm getting up a Wasteland server right now, so you guys can go over and watch that when I get it up, and or play with me, play with pretty much anyone on the D23 servers. Yeah. So, as always, go out and play some games, build some interesting things, and I'll see you all later. So this is what's called a Tier 5 mob spawner, and it's actually zombie pigmen. I'm doing this so I can actually go through and pretty much make gold.